Welcome, Scott. Welcome.
Hello, Toby.
How are you? You good?
Good. I've got this sort of quite irritating song in my head. And I haven't actually heard it. I've just heard other people's renditions. I guess there's a Mario movie out, and Jack Black has done a song, and it's like peaches, peaches, peaches. Yeah, and I'm feeling like, has that film been out a few weeks? Is it like me discovering the Crazy Frog like a month after and go, oh guys, have you seen this? It's really cool. It's quite funny. I'm going, no, dude, you've missed the memo. It's
brilliant.
like cool for one day, and then it was irritating and lame.
Yeah,
that's where
no,
I am.
I haven't seen that either. I did see a viral video that's going around of a flying squirrel who stages his own death. I don't know if you've seen that.
Like with the broom,
Yeah,
like in the hospital. Yeah,
just brilliant. It's genuinely hilarious.
sweet, dramatic.
Yeah, so proper plays up to the whole. Something's killed me. Right. Hey, Scott, what are we here to talk about?
Toby, we've seen the movie Extraction 2.
We have on the day of release.
A big hit. The first one, a big hit for Netflix. I think it came out early days of the pandemic. It just hit a perfect distraction point. I think it just did a lot better than anyone expected.
The first offices. I think it was at the first 4 weeks. It was watched by 90 million households.
That's crazy.
Which is, as they say in modern day terms, bits. It did bits.
This is probably too much of a tangent, sorry. I don't know what the streaming platform plan is for revenue. Because when you have a massive movie, it makes money because people pay to see it. And then you lease it out to the streaming sites for a bit more money and pay on demand for a little while. And but for Netflix to have a hit, it's still the same revenue. Like the people who are already paying have watched it, but they're not paying any extra. And I just, with all due respect to Extraction, for example,
you could argue it's
no one's saying, have you seen Extraction? No, I don't have Netflix. Oh, you've got to see it. Cool. I'm going to go run home and subscribe to Netflix for this movie.
Well, I think that's the key, isn't it? It's just about getting people extra subscribers and making people, especially with them culling the sharing your password thing. That's what they're hoping it does. But yeah, you could argue it makes them less money because they have to actually fund it themselves because it's their movie.
Which is, they do a lot of. I guess this is why they're the heaviest cancelling site we know of. I guess it comes down to like we limited money. We make X amount a year.
Yeah. And
we're not really peaking anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how, that's what I mean. Like, did Extraction make more money because it was a hit, or like, no, actually it made the same money as one of their flops because
I don't know whether you've got the ad revenue version of Netflix now where you can get ads on it and pay less.
Because
here in the UK we've got a $4.99 version which has adverts.
And
those adverts at the beginning and the end. Funnily enough, watching Extraction2 on that subscription service, there were no adverts. So that was good.
Have you seen any adverts on it yet?
Yes, yeah. Everything else I've watched has had adverts, but that none at all.
Interesting. I wonder if there's something where like, hey guys, we want this to be another smash hit. I don't want to risk people turning off this movie because the first one had X million viewers. Let's give them the most incentive they can to not turn off. Do you believe Netflix? The amount of times I've heard Netflix say, this is the most #1 watch show in the world.
I'm thinking, banged.
Is it? Yeah, that's hard to believe with some of it.
I think they are finessed, not finessed in the sense of like they bumped up the numbers, but the language they use leaves it open to expansion and interpretation. So like the most watched show on the planet at this moment in time. Full
brackets in a small town. We've searched
on our service. That's not like terrestrial TV. That's not like ABC, HBO. That's just our service. That's the most watched. Yeah. So it's kind of that. Back to Extraction. So you've seen both of them, I take it. You saw the first one and you've seen the second one. And I take it you enjoyed the first one because you went straight for the second one of day of release. Here's a question. Would you have watched it if I hadn't said, watch it, let's do a talk about it?
I think so, yeah. I don't know if I would have watched it last night. We're in the middle of a few shows we're quite enjoying. And I think my partner would rather have kicked on with those. But I think we're both glad we did. It was just like I would say it's smack on par with the first one. No better or worse.
Yes,
So I
that's
think
exactly what I would say. I didn't come away disappointed. I was exhilarated several times throughout watching it. I watched a couple of reviews on Friday morning. One of them was Mark Commode, who's notoriously quite a difficult reviewer and a highbrow film buff. And he used the word nail biting several times. And he was asked this pertinent question, I thought, by his co-host Simon Mayo. Is it really nail biting when you know it's Chris Hemsworth and you know he's not really going to die?
Interesting.
Can it be nail biting? Well, I was actively biting my nails. I do chew my nails generally in a given day, but during that film, I was like, "Oh, jeepers, this is tense." There were some sequences in this film that were spectacular, I thought.
Is it it's directed by a stuntman?
Yes.
Or an ex-stuntman?
Sam Hargrave.
He's just one of Chris Hemsworth's guys, like a stunt coordinator, stuntman. I guess he's worked on like this is one of the Russo brothers is got his nose in this, like
Partners in Crime,
a writer or producer, or I mean, those guys must be flying. No, like I've never really heard of the Russo brothers before, and now they must be in a position where like the last Avengers is the most like we're in the billions, no, like the highest grossing movie ever.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like creatives, they kind of get what they want now, probably for a while, like a free ticket.
Yeah. Netflix have kind of given that free ticket, haven't they? Because they've just done
Grey Man, is that them?
Your Grey Man, yes, that was theirs. I'm sure they've done something else as well recently.
Did they have did Amazon bring them over to create a new world, like a sort of
Citadel
thing? Citadel, yeah. That's either on the way out soon or just come out. I do see trailers.
It's out. I've just finished it today. I finished the last episode 6. It's not great. It's a bit it's extremely formulaic.
Is it, and it doesn't spy really stuff?
It's spy stuff through and through. But they're looking to build a world, and again, you can see definite tangents between the two, the styles in the action shots and things like this. Although the effects in Citadel are nowhere near as good as most of the effects in Extraction2. You're an effects artist. I was very impressed with the effects in this throughout Extraction2. I was expecting to be distracted by the shoddiness or just the not up to scratchness of some of the effects, but there wasn't anything in here really that made me go, that's bad.
It's always nice. Something real world is always quite a pleasure to work on, because you just have reference. If you're like if you're working on something that's like a fantasy, you're sort of trying to make the picture pretty.
Yeah.
But you just know it's not real. There's some exceptions. 100%, I would say. For me, I would say like Thanos or Avatar is a prime example where I just forget that guy is full CG and not like a guy in a costume and suit.
Yeah.
But then, when I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen Ant-Man 2, but I've seen the trailers and I know enough to know it's like a green screen shoot. It's full fantastical. And you just know it's not about how good it looks or how real it feels. It's just like it's trying to set a world in a pretty picture, and that's the sort of only way to do it without going into mass budget. You can argue for sure, like, okay, but what about Avatar? It's like, I know, but that's an exception not every film can make. That's a lifetime in the making.
Yeah,
you can't ask everyone to be that.
No. Going back to your job as an effects artist, do you watch these types of films and grimace at the work that's involved in some of these shots? You're just like, my God, that must have been
the work amount. Yeah, I feel sorry for a bunch of artists out there. In this particular one, it wasn't that there was a money shot that I was like, okay, that one shot probably took one artist. Like, you normally work on like between like 5, 10, 15, depending on how long and hard they are shots. You never just have one shot for 6 months. But occasionally you'll get a film where one poor artist will just be on 1 or 2 long, hard shots that just take the entire time of the production. I don't know if you've seen it's old now, the Disney movie Cinderella, back when they started doing the live films. There's just a scene where she's in a dress and she spins around and it turns into like another fantasy dress.
Right.
I just know the artist on that was just in pain.
Really?
I mean, how just to work on one, it wasn't particularly short, but when you're working on one thing for months, It's just you can get snowblind. You can just run dry of ideas on what to do. You know, you just like someone else can take this over. Like my scripts become a mess. I'm just like he kicked its ass, but it just cost him his sanity.
His sanity, yeah, completely.
But something like this, the only scene that made me go, okay, they're doing something here outside of like traces, like gunshot traces and helicopter crashes, was the scene in the car.
Okay.
I have no idea, because that's one long take. And it was
the one after the prison break,
escaping the prison from the outside.
Well, that entire sequence was 27 minutes long, one take. I do inverted commas for those that aren't watching the video.
Well, yeah, that's where like there's probably some stitching going on there.
Yeah, there's some hidden transitions.
I'm sure they'll just drive through a puff of smoke.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to say. I did some for the movie The Revenant, if you've seen the DiCaprio movie. In the opening scene, or the opening attack scene, is one of those, and you just have to stitch them. They are long takes, but you have to still stitch them together. And sometimes it's as beautiful as sticking a tree in the middle of a shot and just hiding it behind it as we pan past. Or like a horse just runs right in front of the camera, nice and easy. Sometimes there's nothing to hide behind, and it's flipping painful because these two shots just don't match up. And it's like, not that they've shot at different times of day, but like I'm trying to merge an apple with a peach seamlessly, and that's the level they're looking for. It's like it needs to be seamless. If it the whole illusion is that it's one beautiful take. And
was it Birdman does it as well?
Birdman. I mean, that does it for the entire movie.
There are two hidden. There's two hidden transitions or takes in that, cuts in that film.
What, they shot the film in two takes?
No, there's it's supposedly a one take, the whole film. There's two cuts, there's two edits in the whole film.
Okay, that are clear. Okay, yeah, so that's like they're hidden in sort of like the camera goes close up to someone's back as they go through a door. Oh, okay,
and then it pulls back again, and it's like they're outside, that sort of thing. But on the whole, it's one take. But yeah, the art of the one take shot is, having done camera work myself and done a sequence that was nearly 12 minutes long. That was one take.
Oh, crikey.
And it had 7 or 8 characters, and each of those characters would interact at different times. And the camera is in a big room, and there were drama students, and I knew kind of what was going to happen, but it was very much following the action as much as possible and staging it and framing it in a way. I have hats off to the people that made this, because it was just stunning at times.
It's hard. Like, if you've seen, what's that movie? Is Atonement. There's like a really, and that is a one shot take. I think there's probably a few stitches sneak in, maybe, but it's like, what's impressive is the organization of on set.
The blocking.
It's a very quiet shot. James McAvoy very slowly walks around the beach, but there's no action. So to up that and say, no, we are going to get in close with a bunch of fighting, gunshots, explosions. We're going to get in the car, out the car. We're going to go see what that car's doing. We're going to come back and get in this car. We're going to get super impressive, I guess.
Train. We're going to transition between carriages. We're going to go around the outside and down the side. We're going to start in a prison. I've just
So like,
I was sat there clapping at the end of that sequence. I was blown away.
So that was the sequence. I was like, this can't all be real, but I can't really see what's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that I'm questioning its validity. Just as a VFX artist, you're sort of drawn into that stuff. You sort of can't help it. It's something you can't quite turn off, like an artist who looks for brush strokes. I don't know,
that's exactly it. That's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to work out, was whether being a artist in the effects industry, does it ruin the art of just sitting and enjoying and switching your mind off and being lost in suspension of disbelief, or are you always one foot in?
That's where the movie has to be good, not the VFX. You know, I get into like, not arguments, not heated discussions, but I guess discussions with VFX artists. When we watch a film with bad VFX, it's like, oh, how can they have let that through? You know, it's like, okay, no, it is, okay, that was painful. But if it's consistent throughout the film, I guess my feeling is like, I think that was just the plan all along, and it's a low budget film, because the alternative is to not make the film.
Yeah.
because it's your like Hollywood's taken over and they have budget to throw. But what do you do if you just want, yeah, I want to do a film and I need a consistent VFX throughout it. Like I'm a budget filmmaker and I want to do a film in space, and through all the shots there's like windows of the moon and it doesn't look great, but I don't have time and budget for a set and I just want to make this. So my alternative is make a couple million more dollars for the budget or make it a bit pokey. And I sort of like applaud the hokey filmmakers because it's just another level of hardness, and it's accepting that it's not going to be this final polishing piece. So when I can watch one of those and then the story and the characters pull me in and I'm okay, but it's like watching an old movie. It's okay. At one point you go, oh God, this is digital effects.
That's it.
And then you move on and enjoy the movie.
Was it Plan 9 or Planet 9? This is a notoriously...
Oh, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah, that's the one.
Edward Wood.
Yeah. Like particularly bad effects, even for an era where there were no effects. There were bad effects.
Broken animatronics and sponge monsters.
String and that fully leaned into it at a time when...
That's his biggest cult movie. Yeah. I mean, I'd say that's a bit of accepted because I don't think that was quite planned. I think that was that's like the Tommy Wiseau's The Room. I think it was supposed to be a glorious, awesome like sci-fi movie.
But it shows you it can work if you get it so bad.
I'm a huge fan of the old zombie movies, and the earlier they go, the more not hokey again, but like dealing with the constraints of technology.
You can see the
time,
flappy masks
budget.
and things.
The Evil Dead movies probably don't stand up in all ways and VFX, but I just love them. So we've got way off Extraction here, but
no, we're still talking about effects. We're on board.
But that scene with the car, that was sort of not the anticlimax, but like that was like, I don't think we're going to get better than this. And for me, it didn't. The car post-prison car sequence was just stunning. And then followed by the train. I really loved that tight fight. I was a bit disappointed when they got off the train. I was thinking, okay, we're going to have like a modern map. Like I wanted more of that train. I thought the film was going to be a siege film on that train. Oh, it has been done. That it literally is Mad Max and Mad Max 3. And then the remake of the new Mad Max film, just like transporting. But that particular sequence the prison was tight, but I was confused at what the hell the plan was. It makes sense to launch into that really quick because people are there to see the awesome action.
Yeah. I thought the setup and the way that they rocketed through that initial setup at the beginning of the second one, reintroducing him back in the world, showing him recovering. Doing the Rocky montage, but without making it a Rocky montage. It was kind of, not as ham-fisted as that. I thought that all of that was really good. I liked Idris Elba's little rock up at the beginning.
Someone give him a fucking role, man.
Yeah.
He's so often relegated to like that guy in that movie.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he in this? They clearly needed one extra hand in this team. When they were in the prison, I was thinking, they've understaffed this. Like, because for a while, it felt like he was on his own. Like, Idris Elba, pulled him in, cut to him on his own, and a driver, I guess, kicking into the prison. I was thinking, is he on his own? Is he going to get caught? And it's a prison break movie. Like, where's the flipping team? Why is he getting in on his own? It took me a little while. Okay, no, he is with the team. This was a terrible plan. Like he was running around going, "Get me out of here!" Like, guys, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, your ass kicked.
I don't think it was necessarily terrible. I just think it went wrong quickly.
But that was the one thing that could go wrong. Was probably going to go wrong. That one person saw him running around in SWAT gear with an automatic rifle. It wasn't like he was dressed as one of them and he could put his head down and blend in.
True.
It was literally the plan was to not be seen by anyone. And they made his entrance really, really swift. He just walked there, which is fine. But then, I mean, I'm not going to dig into it too much. It was just like, where's the plan?
I think there was like 3 key action sequences, wasn't there? There was the bit at the beginning, and then you had the tower, and then you had the end sequence. I really enjoyed the skyscraper battle. That was very nice. There was some really good hand-to-hand combat. The stuff in the gym was amazing. Like people biting bullets, not literally, but weights, I guess, in ways that I'd never expected to happen.
it was all very quick. I never quite ever saw what happened. It would just be like, I think there was two
Mm-hmm.
that stood out, just pulling like a safety from a weight and letting a guy get crushed, and one
Mm-hmm.
like using a running machine to break someone's neck. I don't really
Yeah, yeah,
argue really, for me, a bit arduous to set up. Like, I don't know, when do you ever come
yeah.
across a running machine at full spread, but very fun to watch. And then
What I did find, I've having watched a lot of behind the scenes stuff for this or in the run up to it, I saw some of the prison break sequence without the sound effects laid over the top, and it just felt weak, like the punches weren't obvious, they weren't connecting, and but then the second they put the sound effects in, the whole thing stitched it together. It shows you how important sound is and sound design, which I thought again for this film was really on point. A little bit quiet in the courtyard fight, but outside of that, I thought the sound design was great.
I thought, is it Rake?
Yes, Tyler Rake.
Was
great name.
Oh, no, what's the lady called? His teammate
Nick.
I thought she kicked ass
Mm-hmm.
in a really believable way.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like they panned it down to her and gave her like, we're gonna have like a bunch of women on the team and we'll have like she takes on the women team, or like, you know,
No,
or, like she had, like, it didn't feel like they gave her cheating powerful punches.
no.
Like, she was going against big burly men, and I believe she would kick my ass, and she has a punch, but there's still like a physical power imbalance. And they just did a very good way of, like, I don't know, showing her fights that she can basically handle her own.
Yeah, I completely agree. She got thrown around a hell of a lot and smashed through things believably by people that were much bigger than her. But she had a speed on her side, and she was ripping good with a gun in close combat.
Those it's really sort of like going up against John Wick with like really close combat fights where you're literally in a cupboard and everyone's got a gun and you're sort of fighting and shooting at the same time. Do you feel like this film has an identity? Because the one thing I came out, not a criticism, but I was like, you know, I don't know about Bond. I guess that's a bit different because they're sort of stylized and maybe because they're iconic. But trying to think of other actions, like, it didn't feel like this film had an identity. Like, if I saw a random still from it, would I know it was Extraction? The first one had a really heavy color tint to it to show they're in foreign land. But, you know, I feel like the Bourne films, if you showed me any shot from the Bourne films, they have a sort of like grainy film look, for example. And I could probably pick that out of a lineup. Trying to think of other action films. I just feel like all my favorite action films are
glossy, isn't it, really?
Say again?
Just glossy. I guess it's very clean and glossy. That's how I would guess you describe it. Like, they're staples. They're things you expect going into an extraction, I guess, which is what you would associate with being an identity. Is you go in expecting one shots, expecting very gruff hand-to-hand combat.
But you're right, I guess. Like this, like we said, it's not in a bad way, but like exactly what you wanted from a sequel. A very unpretentious, unapologetic, like adrenaline action. I actually thought the tie-ins weren't really necessary. Like, you like that beginning, but I just thought, like, I guess I would have rather he just, like, we just come in on him and he's got the scars and there's just one reference to, like, I thought you were dead, and he's like, I did too. What can I say? I'm a swimmer. You know, something not stupid and throwaway, but just like, let's just separate from the first film. Like that Knives Out director said, I want you to be able to watch this without knowing that there even is a first film. And there's nothing wrong with tying it in. I just didn't really add anything to me. It was just like, we can't have the film open with him breaking into a prison. We need a bit of a character introduction. So why don't we pick up from where we were and show him? And,
there was a great line that I really liked that made me just go whoop, was when he was talking to the last brother. And he says, come to the airport and we can negotiate. He goes, I'm on my way, but I'm not coming to negotiate. And I just boom, put the phone down. I was like, go on, Chris, get in there, stick him, son. That's great. It's really good.
There's
a couple of loans like that I like.
There was one I thought of course they're not going to do it, but I was like, I would love it if I think when the brother on the outside realized it, he's like, this isn't assassination. What do you mean? This is, and I thought he was going to say Extraction 2.
This is something else.
This is something. So plot-wise, I kept thinking it was going to be something bigger. Was it really he was just annoyed at that woman and he wanted to kill her and her children?
Yeah, basically.
I'm not. I was like,
she just undermined I want to say the Navi or whatever they are called, but the Nazul.
Because they were after her like before they knew he was dead. Like I thought, okay, she's the key to she knows all the secrets of the Empire. I kept thinking it was going to explode into like something more than just "there's my wife."
No, it was just a case that he killed her. His brother was dead.
Because they were very on him before that. I'm not going to pick holes, but I was like, who are these people? When they escaped the prison and they were immediately set upon by like vehicles with heavy armor, I was like, who are these?
Yeah.
Why did the brother have a small army outside the prison? It felt like there was a lot of setup with these brothers and how they business and what they do to it to just be a revenge. You know, I guess they wanted to keep it simple, like that as it should be. But I don't know. That one note was just like, this was a bit over the top. You know, just like send one guy with a sniper rifle, pop her out, back home, business as usual.
Job done.
But like I wasn't sure if are these the prison guys? No, they can't be the prison guys. But I guess it's that Christopher Nolan thing of like they are men in masks shooting at our heroes.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Faceless victims. That's all they need. Yeah. So Extraction 2, exactly what he says on the tin. Probably just as good as the first one. I really enjoyed the first one. I can't wait for the third one, which I think is going to have more Idris Elba, to be honest.
I think so. It's a lot of setup for nothing otherwise.
So yeah, highly recommend you watch it, people.
If you like action, it's your thing. I mean, definitely, it's sort of on par with that John Wick. I've only seen the first John Wick. People go crazy for it, and there's 4 of them out. But
I've
on par with that. Like you're there for the action, and it's not too long before it delivers, and then it doesn't really stop.
Yes, breathless is how I'd put it. So yes, thank you for listening. Join us again at some point in the future for another Watch We Watch. Watch with us.